Bismillahi walhamdulillahi assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Today inshallah we will complete our study of Surah An Nahl, and we will go through the last about 45 ayahs. We will try our best inshallah to complete in this session. So let's start. Like every class, let's quickly recap the actions from our previous class. There were actually four. Number one was related to immigration. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prefers that the Muslims, when they are migrating, they migrate to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where they can practice Islam in a better way. So the action that we took for ourselves is, and these days as well, people go a lot for immigration to different countries, and they are seeking these immigration, especially if they belong to from a developing country, and a lot of people are taking these. So the important thing for us to note is the new place you are migrating to should help you and your family to become better practicing Muslims, so that too you want to succeed in both in this life as well as hereafter. So this should be the prime consideration of Muslims when they are seeking immigration or moving from one place to another. The second action was we have to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow his commands, and we cannot follow the shaitan's path of arrogance. So shaitan, when he made the mistake, he became arrogant. He did not ask for forgiveness. While on the contrary, Adam alayhi salam, when he made a mistake, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness and he made prayer. So we should follow the sunnah of Adam alayhi salam versus follow the path of shaitan. Point number three was about burying the daughters. And in those times, especially during Makkah, the pagans of Makkah, they used to be humiliated and they used to feel embarrassed when daughters were born in their households. And they used to think that should we live with this humiliation or should we simply kill them? And a lot of them used to kill them and bury them in the graves while they were alive. So this was a heinous practice that was happening in those times. However, the concept we need to understand, and if we take that concept of feeling really happy on the birth of a daughter because she is a blessing, as was stated and we discussed it in the previous lesson, then even today, a lot of the families really want a boy, they want a son. So the important thing, the action that we took for ourselves is that we should not bury our daughters. And in modern times, burying means that we should treat all our kids, be it sons or daughters, equally and raise them accordingly to the teachings of Islam. A lot of you, inshallah, will complete your education, you will grow up, you will find jobs, you will start your own families, inshallah, you will get married, and you will have a lot of children, inshallah. So you should focus on raising them according to the teachings of Islam, so that they can be sadqa jariyah, be it a son or a daughter, and you should treat them equally in terms of education and food and provisions and everything that you're providing for them. Don't prefer one gender over the other. The last section was believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our perfect creator with amazing creations that are all around us as signs, and a lot of examples we went through in the previous two lessons where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminded us, look at these signs, look at this creation, look at this perfect creation. And then this should be a source of Iman and belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Moving forward to today's lesson. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ya'rifuna ni'matallahi summa yunkirunaha wa aktharahumul kafirun. They recognize the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which means they understand that yes, all these bounties and provisions and everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they do recognize the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then they deny it. And most of them are disbelievers. So it's a very, very important ayah. And I just want to discuss it a little bit more. And we know there is a very famous surah, Surah Ar-Rahman, in which this statement comes in repeatedly. So, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this verse, in this ayah, that they understand and they recognize the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, however they deny it. And this used to be the practice of mushriks of Makkah as well. So they recognize the favor of Allah and then they deny it, and most of them, majority of them, are disbelievers. So who will explain this point to me? How is it happening today? Do we see this around us? Anyone, whatever comes to your mind. In terms of people recognizing the favor of Allah, however, then they are denying it, and most of them are disbelievers. Even amongst the Muslim families, by the way. It doesn't mean that if you're a born Muslim, then you're a true practicing Muslim as well. Yes, Nuruddin, please go ahead.
So I think there is one example from all that whenever we get something, we are ungrateful that we needed that or we want to get that. So we should be grateful for that. I think this explains that.
Excellent. Jazakallah khairan, Nuruddin. You're right. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestows His mercy, we should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should say Alhamdulillah for everything. Alhamdulillah. So one way of recognizing the favor and not denying it is also to continue praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we keep that back of our mind that everything is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we continue to say thanks. So the action for us, if you look at the last part, and that is important as well, is that most of the people are disbelievers. Never follow the majority. We have discussed it multiple times in our lessons. Sometimes we are having these arguments with our parents, because all of my friends are going, all of my friends are going to the party, majority of our friends are doing this. Majority does not mean they are right. If everybody is doing something, it doesn't mean they are right. If people are in a Muslim country and they are born Muslims and they are doing certain things that are not in line with the guidance of Islam, that doesn't mean they are right just because they are born Muslims and they look like Muslims, and we have to understand the actions. We have to we have to always think if our actions are in line with the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not, regardless of, even if you are the alone person who's walking on the right path. In your life, you have to decide the right path according to the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are going through in the Holy Quran as well as in the Hadith and Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, even if the entire world is going on the wrong path, if everybody is taking riba, if everybody is doing zina, if everybody is watching dirty movies or videos or getting into these wrong conversations, you cannot get into it. If there is a gathering that you are there and they are serving, everybody is drinking alcohol, that doesn't mean that you will have to drink alcohol because everybody is doing it. Even if they are Muslims, even if they are Islamic scholars, whatever they are, you have to apply your own guidance filter. You have to apply, you are answerable for in your own grave. You'll be going in your own grave. No one will be coming as a protector, and you cannot say, because this guy was there, so I just shared a drink with him, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is the cause, punish him and not me. No, this cannot happen. And we have read this multiple times that every person will be for himself and no soul will benefit another. So majority, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying most of them are disbelievers. That already tells us that majority will not be right. So this notion of majority is always right is not true when it comes to the practicing Muslim and when it comes to the guidance of Islam. So most of them are disbelievers, which means we should not follow the majority. And yes, when the majority is right and they are doing a right thing, we can follow them. That's okay. So we have to make sure that we are always on the right path, even if we are walking alone on that path. Moving forward, وَيَوْمَ نَبْعَثُ مِنْ كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ شَهِيدًا ثُمَّ لَا يُؤْذَنُ لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَلَا هُمْ يُسْتَعْبَتُونَ. And the day we will resurrect from every nation a witness, which means the messenger or prophet who was sent to that nation, then to those who will not be permitted and who disbelieved, and they will not be able to make any amends. So at that point in time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring in the messenger or a prophet who was sent to a nation as a witness, and those people, they will not be allowed to now submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will not be allowed to, nothing will be accepted from them, from the people who disbelieved at that point in time, who disbelieved in that messenger, who disbelieved in that prophet, who mocked that prophet. Nothing will be accepted from them. And now on the day of judgment, there will be no amends. Time's up. The time to take action was when you got the message, when you got the message from the messenger. Now your time is up. وَإِذَا رَأَى الَّذِينَ وَلَمُوا الْعَذَابَ فَلَا يُخَفَّفُ عَنْهُمْ وَلَا هُمْ يُنْذَرُونَ. And when those who wronged will see the punishment, then it will not be lightened for them. The punishment, the severe punishment, will not be lightened, and they will not be given any respite. They will not be given any more time. They cannot say, they will wish that they can go back to earth and they can go back to the world and correct their actions and relive their lives all over again, but they will not be given that time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us right now. He's reminding everyone with this guidance right now so that we can correct our path. On the day of judgment, on the day of result, you will not be asked to sit back in the exam again, because now it's the day of result. Either you pass or you fail. وَإِذَا رَأَى الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا شُرَكَاءَهُمْ قَالُوا رَبَّنَا هَؤُلَاءِ شُرَكَاؤُنَا الَّذِينَ كُنَّا نَدْعُو مِن دُونِكَ. And when those who will and when those who associated partners with Allah, who did shirk, they will see their partners, they will say, our Lord, these are our partners, those whom we used to invoke besides you. However, those partners whom they used to make partners to Allah SWT, they will just say, no, we don't know you. So, but they will throw back at them their word, and they will say, indeed, surely you are liars. We have nothing to do with you. So the biggest example of this is Christianity, where Isa alayhi salam is considered, and they consider him and revere him as a god, and they have multiple concepts of Trinity, where Maryam salamun alayha and Isa alayhi salam and God, and they have these concepts, right? However, Isa alayhi salam has nothing to do with it. We have read it multiple times in the Quran. We have read it multiple stories. He himself was a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was lifted and held by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was trying to correct what the Jews had done to Tawrat of the Musa alayhi salam that was revealed to Musa alayhi salam. He was trying to correct their sermons, which is why they went against him, and they did a conspiracy with Christians and the entire thing that we have already discussed. So he himself will not be doing. And here as well, all the false gods, all the shaitan, even shaitan himself will disown the people who will say that, shaitan is the one who asked us to do this, or this god we used to do shirk with. All of these, they will disown these people, and they will say, these are surely liars who are trying to take our name and benefit from it. وَأَلْقَوْا إِلَى الَّذِينَ يَوْمَئِذٍ السَّلَامَ وَزَلَّ عَنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَفْتَرُونَ. And they will offer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day their submission. However, and it's lost for them what they used to invent. Now they create a lot of things in shirk. There are very fancy names of different gods, and there are very detailed concepts in different religions that they have created. And even the pagans of Makkah at that point in time had very creative, twisted ideologies and beliefs regarding God and all of this that they had created. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying nothing of what they invented will be able to help them. It's an invention, right? Even if you are worshipping a stone or an idol, you have created a stone, you have given yourself them a shape, and you're saying he's my God, and you are worshipping them. This is a pure invention by you, right? It is not a creator. It cannot be a God. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying all that they invented, all that they did, it will not be able to benefit on that day of judgment. الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَصَدُّوا عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ زِدْنَاهُمْ عَذَابًا فَوْقَ الْعَذَابِ بِمَا كَانُوا يُفْسِدُونَ. And those who disbelieved and hindered from the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will increase them in punishment over punishment, because they used to spread corruption, especially those people who are misguiding others. So if somebody comes to you and they say, I've heard this and it is important, and I've heard this hadith or sunnah that I want to practice, and you say, no, it's not important and everything. So you are also misguiding. These people will severe more, and they will severe higher punishment. Those Islamic scholars who are misguiding people, if they are, then they will also face the repercussions. So it is very important. And then of course the followers of other religions and those people who are opposing the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, and the people around them, they were influencing them either because of their power or their cruelties or oppression, whatever they were doing. They were hindering them to enter Islam or to practice Islam the way they wanted to be. Their punishment will continue to increase because of the corruption that they were spreading in religion. وَيَوْمَ نَبْعَثُ فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ. And the day we will select among every nation a witness over them from themselves, meaning the messenger or a prophet that was sent to them. وَجِئْنَا بِكَ شَهِيدًا عَلَى هَؤُلَاءِ. And we will bring you as a witness over these. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying all the prophets and messengers who have been sent in the past before you, Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all of them will be presented against the nations, and you will also be presented against your nation as a witness that yes, you passed on the message. However, these are the ones who disbelieved by their own choice. وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ تِيبَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً وَبُشْرَى لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. And we send down to you the book as a clarification of everything, and a guidance and mercy and glad tidings for the Muslims. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsani wa itta'i dhil qurba wa yanha anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi ya'idhukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands justice and the good, and giving and giving to relatives, and forbids from immorality and the bad and the oppression. He admonishes you so that you may take heed. Now Allah SWT is reminding us, this is a very jame or detailed or a comprehensive ayah with a lot of instructions for Muslims. So I'll just share a detailed explanation that is being shared as a meaning of this verse, of this ayah in Tafsir Ahsan al-Kalam. I really found it very nice and detailed. So let's go through this. So if you look at this ayah, here is a translation, but it has a bit more details. Sorry. Yeah. Verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enjoins al-adl. Adl means justice and worshipping no one but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, which is the concept of Islamic monotheism. And al-ihsan. So first of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is enjoining adl. Then he is, which means giving justice and worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And then al-ihsan. The meaning of ihsan is to be patient in performing your duties to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, totally for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake and in accordance with the sunnah, legal ways of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a perfect manner. Try to improve yourself, try to be perfect in that manner. And giving help to kith and kin, meaning your relatives. And there is an explanation that will come in the order. What should be the order of helping? We should start with our parents, siblings and all, and it will come in the next slide. So, and giving help to the kith and kin, that is all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered you to give them. For example, your wealth, visiting them, looking after them, or any other kind of help, and forbid. So these are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking you to do. Adil, justice, meaning and worshipping none other than Allah. Ihsan, patiently performing all duties towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only for his sake, according to the sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And giving help to kith and kin, who are our relatives. We will see their list as well. And that help means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered you to give them, for example, wealth, your visits, looking after them, or any other kind of help that you can provide. These are all the things that you have to do. Now coming, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbids al-fahsha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbids al-fahsha, meaning he stops you from doing fawahish. Fawahish are what? All evil deeds. For example, illegal sexual acts, which is also called zina. Getting into a relationship with a person who is who's not into nikah with you. So you do, zina means that you do this, you fulfill your desire with a female, or a female does this with a male who are not husband and wife. So this is illegal. Disobedience of parents. This is very important. It comes under fahsha. Disobedience of parents. Polytheism, having more gods than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To tell lies, lying. To give false witness. Somebody asks you to say something and you say, no, it wasn't like this, it was like this, Witness is very important, being a witness. You have to be always truthful. To kill a life without right, to kill someone, to murder someone without, any right. And al-munkar. So this was all fahsha, and then there is al-munkar, that is all that is prohibited by Islamic law. Polytheism of every kind, all the haram things, disbelief and every kind of evil deeds. And al-baghi. Baghi, that is all kinds of oppression, oppressing people, using your power, torturing people, not giving them their rights. Whenever you find force, you get corrupt, don't giving right of property and all of these things. He admonishes you that you may take heed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding you with this comprehensive set of guidance. What to do, what not to do, everything is clear. This is a very comprehensive ayah which has multiple instructions for us. Now, here on this part, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning and giving to your relatives. Zil qurba. Let's see the definition of qurba. So degree of kinship, it flows in a certain order. So if you have to take care of your relatives and you have limited resources, time or whatever, who should be the first priority and then who follows? First of all, your parents. They are the top priority, your parents. Then your offspring, your own children. Then your brothers and sisters, your siblings. Then your paternal uncles from your father's side, paternal uncles and aunts from your father's side, then your maternal uncles and aunts from your mother's side, and then other relatives. Then you go out and out and out and you keep on helping them, contacting them and living with them. So I hope this point is clear. Any questions related to this ayah? Okay, good. وَأَوْفُوا بِأَهْدِ اللَّهِ إِذَا عَاهَدْتُمْ وَلَا تَنْقُضُوا الْأَيْمَانَ بَعْدَ تَوْكِيدِهَا وَقَدْ جَعَلْتُمُ اللَّهَ عَلَيْكُمْ كَفِيلًا. And fulfill the covenant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you have taken a covenant meaning promise, when you have made the promise, when you have entered into Islam. And do not break oaths after their confirmation, while verily you have made Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over you a surety. People say a lot of the times, Wallahi, I will do this, don't worry, and I promise by God and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So keep your promises. Whenever you have made a covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning you have entered into Islam, now you have to follow the guidance, you have to follow the do's and don'ts, and also towards others. When you are making a covenant or promise towards others, especially when you have taken the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a witness. So if you don't provide that thing will get compensated on the day of judgment. So it is very, very important that we take care, especially when we have made a promise by the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna Allaha ya'lamu ma taf'alun. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what you do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows each and everything. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّتِي نَقَزَتْ غَزْلَهَا مِنْ بَعْدِ قُوَّةٍ أَنْكَاثًا. And do not be like her who untwists her spun yarn after strength into untwisted strands. So imagine there is a female who has already twisted a yarn. So she is like, making, let's say, a sweater with a wool or a yarn and everything. And she ties it very nicely, it becomes strong. And then eventually she herself just dismantles it and cuts it or opens it through. So breaking your promise is like you making a commitment, you putting in your effort. Now you have to make sure that you're fulfilling that promise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is explaining that an example of a person or of a female who puts in a lot of effort to sew something, a yarn, or to spin a yarn and everything. However, once it gains strength, when it ties up and then she breaks it herself, تَتَّخِذُونَ أَيْمَانَكُمْ دَخْلًا بَيْنَكُمْ أَن تَكُونَ أُمَّةٌ هِيَ أَرْبَى مِنْ أُمَّةٍ. You take your oaths as a deception between you because is it a community that is more numerous than another community. So what happens is people used to make false promises in order to gain strength and in order to gain wealth, in order to become numerous. Numerous means that you are doing really good from a wealth standpoint. So one community cheating over another community, this is not allowed. So they used to lie and they used to make false promises. For example, in trade, that yes, this is an amazing good, this is very good, this is #1 quality. However, they are selling it and then taking huge amounts of profit while it's a cheap product, trying to deceive another community just to go ahead. So while Islam allows healthy competition, but this is unhealthy competition, that you're making false promises and you're trying to sell something that is not the same. However, you are charging a lot of price just to make sure that you are more prosperous and your community, you grow, you become strong, while the other you pull down by making these false promises. Aziz, you have raised your hand. Is there a comment or question? Please go ahead.
What if you're selling something and they acknowledge the fact, and like what if you're selling something, you don't say it, but people just buy it? Like let's say an Apple iPhone, they take like $200, like $200 something to make, but they sell it for like 1,000. So would that be allowed? Or
yes, so I think on this one, as long as it is very clear, the value is clear to the buyer and the seller, it is allowed, because the selling price is determined by the seller. So if I am owning a phone, let's say, and I know the price of it or the cost of it is 200, but I want to sell it to 1,000. As long as I'm not overcommitting on the features, as long as I'm not overcommitting, I'm not doing anything false, saying false things, no, it is perfect and everything else, and then inside there is an issue in it, it should be okay that I ask for the price that I want. However, the element of ihsan towards other is that I don't overcharge them. But as my right, I can put any price to anything that I own from a legal standpoint or Sharia legal standpoint. However, from an ihsan standpoint, I should determine a value because I want to pass on the benefit to others as well. And from these brands, let's say an Apple iPhone or something, if they're clearly laying out the features and there is no false promise or there is nothing wrong that they're making, and people know what they are buying and they're paying a higher value, it may be because of prestige, because of simplicity, because of the design, because of the look, because of, I want to be seen as in my friends, or whatever the value in the mind of the buyer, and they are paying the value by their will, it's not forced and there is no false promise, then it's okay. Sorry, there is another hand raised. Yes, Arham or Ahmed.
Sir, what if I buy something, like I buy a toy or something for $20 and then I sell it for 40 and then I get profit from that, but I'm not saying anything like I've bought it new, or like I buy a toy, I've used it, and in the listing that I'm selling it says that it's used, but I'm making a profit from it. Is that allowed?
Yes, you can make profit from it. It's your thing. You can make a profit from it for sure. As long as you're not lying, as long as you're not saying it's brand new, it's very good, while inside it's broken and it's not working. Obviously, it's your thing, and as long as people are buying and they're willing to pay the value, you can take the profit. That's how trade is done. Trade is done. The basic concept of trade is simple. I have something at cost. Of course, it has costed me something, but I will sell it as a profit. And trade and profit in Islam are allowed. So as long as, the way I see it, it's okay. Okay. Okay, excellent. Innama yablukumullahu bi. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests you by it. Wala yubayyinanna lakum yawmal qiyamati ma kuntum fihi takhtalifun. And he will make clear to you on the day of resurrection what you use to it and what you use to differ in. All of the things will get clarified. There will be no confusion. Walau sha Allahu laja'alakum ummatan wahidatan walakin yudhillu man yasha'u wa yahdi man yasha'. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had willed, he could have made surely a nation, made all of you as one nation, which meaning all of you following. But he lets go astray whom he wills and guides whom he wills. The second part of this ayah is also very important, which is وَلَتُسْأَلُنَّ عَمَّا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And surely you will be questioned about what you used to do. The part of the guidance, we have to take action. We have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. We have to stop ourselves from bad things, haram things. We have to do the good things and positive things, and then ask Allah, continue to seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness and guidance, and then wait for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy and blessings to fall upon us so that we can be guided as well. It is very, very important to know, because people take part of the first ayah and they say, okay, so if Allah willed, then I would have been a better Muslim or practicing Muslim. Or if Allah wills, then I will be guided, otherwise I wouldn't be guided. However, Allah SWT is saying, and surely you will be questioned about what you used to do. So even in the hadith of the Holy Prophet, it is mentioned multiple times that our job is to continue doing the good things in best possible manner and refrain from the haram things or things that we have been asked, and stay away from them, and then expect mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continue to pray for mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to enter Jannah. وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ دَخَلًا بَيْنَكُمْ فَتَذِلَّ قَدَمٌ بَعْدَ ثُبُوتِهَا وَتَذُوقُوا السُّوءَ بِمَا صَدَدتُّمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. And do not take your oaths as a deception between you, lest you slip your foot after it is firmly planted, and you would taste the evil for what you hindered from the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, you cannot make false promises, and you cannot say, because at that point in time, it was also happening that a lot of the people who were trying to come to the way of Islam, people were hindering them and making false promises to them. No, wallahi, this is all wrong, and this is all, it's not correct, and I am telling you, it's my guarantee, and all of these things people were saying. However, they were trying to hinder those people who were trying to become firm in their religion. And even these days, today as well, a lot of the Muslims, even in Muslim families, they are saying, you're becoming too fundamental, you're becoming too staunch a Muslim. And, they are trying to hinder those people who are trying to become firm and get planted within Islam. Instead of encouraging them, they are coming in their way. وَلَكُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. And for you, there is a great, great punishment for those people. There was a hand raised. I think, Ahsan, you have a comment? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have one question.
Please go ahead.
Sir, mostly time I'm very disappointed and very nervous about Islam, and I offer prayer, but I left prayer nowadays. And every situation I am very, I take too much stress and felt I want to give up from every situation. I don't understand what's happening with me.
Sure. I think what is very, very important is Jazakumullah khairan for sharing this, of course. And all of us can have ups and downs, especially when it comes to Iman and following, especially in the practices. All of us have our low moments. We get tough times as well. The short answer is, obviously you can connect with me over WhatsApp as well later on, and I can give you and we can have a detailed discussion. But the short answer is, the important thing is that no matter what you do, no matter what wrong you do, no matter how many prayers you have missed, as long as you are alive, you have a chance. You can go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for forgiveness and restart your counter again and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his mercy, and pray. The good thing is, the best thing is the realization. And I'm so glad, Jazakallah khairan, for even asking this in the forum and saying this openly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put this awareness inside your heart, and you have that spark inside your heart, which is why, it's bothering you and you're asking me this question as well. So Alhamdulillah, this is there, and I'm super happy for you as well. So please just make sure that you stay close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and keep your connection. I'll tell you, the waswasa of shaitan is, you are such a bad person, you have missed so many prayers, no, you have done so much wrong, now you're doing this bad thing, you did not pray yesterday, why, what's the point of praying now, you just missed this prayer, why are you praying? No, this is waswasa of shaitan. He wants you or us to follow him on his way, which was of arrogance. He never came back and asked for forgiveness. However, our job is we will make mistakes, we can miss our prayers, we may do some haram things as well. Sometimes we commit big mistakes, sometimes small mistakes. The important thing is, always come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't leave your connection, and the best connection is the prayer. 5 times mandatory prayer. Try to revive them. Even if you're discouraged, just continue to pray, continue to go. Ideally, you should go and pray in congregation. You will be encouraged. You will see other fellow Muslims when you go to the mosque, and there is an environment in the mosque, you feel really good. It will boost your Iman as well. So short answer is, stay connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep on going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the most merciful for those people who go back to him and approach to him. Yes, but there is punishment for those people who become arrogant on their wrong path and continue to go to that wrong path. Anyways, I'll leave it here for now, but however, we can connect over WhatsApp for further discussions as well, inshallah. Okay, so moving forward, وَلَا تَشْتَرُوا بِعَهْدِ اللَّهِ ثَمَانًا قَلِيلًا, and do not exchange the covenant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a little price. The promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once you have entered Islam, do not exchange this for a little price, and we will discuss it a little bit more in the next slide. إِنَّمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ هُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Indeed, what is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is better for you only if you were to know. Sorry, there was another hand raised. Is there a comment?
Yeah, sir. I just want to ask you that the 94 ayat that was written, it is a firmly planted, and you would taste the evil for what you hindered. I don't understand.
I will tell you. Very good. Thank you for asking the question, Muhammad Hassan. Jazakallahu khairan for asking this question. So what this is saying is, and do not take your oaths as a deception between you, lest you slip a foot after it is firmly planted, and you would taste the evil for what you hindered. So basically, there were a lot of Muslims that were getting into Islam, and they were becoming even better Muslims. So that means their foot was getting firmly planted within Islam. They became practicing Muslims. They were coming towards the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, listening to him, getting inspired. There were a lot of other people within Makkah who were not believing in Islam and who were against the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions. What they used to do was, they used to sow confusion. They used to confuse them. They used to say, no. You're trying to, this is not what he meant actually. Let me tell you what he meant. He said not 5 times a pray, but maybe, they were making their own assumptions on Islam just to hinder the way from following. So anyone they would see that they are trying to follow and getting firmly planted with Islam, then they would try to hinder them from the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying there is a great punishment for such people who were coming in between the path of those who were trying to follow the right way of Islam, and making false promises and saying things that were not true and creating their own lies and inventions. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Alhamdulillah. Let's move forward. Okay. So here in the ayah number 95, we just discussed, do not exchange the covenant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a little price. Who will explain? By the way, this is coming in as a straight action for us. Don't exchange the covenant of Allah for a little price. Yes, Taha, your hand is raised. Go ahead.
So what they mean about this sentence is that you should not leave Islam for such a little thing. For example, you go overseas and you go to a new college, and most of them are non-Muslims. So if you want to be like the cool person among them, you're not supposed to leave Islam.
Brilliant answer, Taha. Jazakallahu khairan. Brilliant. Yes, Aziz, your hand is raised. Go ahead, please.
So I think it's to do with when before we were born, there was we took a covenant with Allah. I can't remember what it was called, but like that the covenant was that we would we would believe in Allah and follow Allah's commands. And so I think it's talking about that covenant. And for a little price, that could be like a little price, like some enjoyment in this world, or some enjoyment in this world, or some ease in this world, or something like that. So you broke the covenant of Allah just for a little price.
Jazakallahu khairan, Aziz. Yes, you are hinting towards the right point, by the way. This is the answer. Yes, excellent. Nuruddin, you had your hand raised?
No, sir.
Okay. So
actually, what I wanted to say, they already said, so I think it just matched.
Excellent, excellent. Jazakumullahu khairan, everyone. Ahmed, Arham, I think your hand is raised. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to say, I think overall it just relies on your priorities. So if deen is your priority, is top, then you won't even exchange the covenant of Allah SWT. So yeah.
Brilliant answer. Thank you so much. Jazakumullahu khairan. All of you are right, and you were converging towards the right point, which is our covenant towards Allah is what? That we will follow the guidance, we will follow the messenger, we will follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who brought us the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we will follow his sunnah, the way he exemplified Islam for us, the way he brought to life it for us. So this is the promise, that we will do halal things, we will not we will abstain from haram things, right? So however, what happens is sometimes people flip over, as you guys mentioned, that sometimes for a little price, meaning for a little desire, for a little benefit, for a little money of riba, to get the house, you get into the mortgage, which may be interest based or riba based. Then for education, for your college, you want to get a car, you get into a car loan that may have interest in it, or any other thing. It can be anything. It can be any pleasure within this worldly life that is anyways limited, and we will die, right? And you exchange it versus what you had promised to, that is to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sorry, Waleed, I think you were unmuted. I don't know if you have a comment, then you can unmute yourself and mention. Otherwise, I thought you were unmuted by mistake. Okay. So what is important is that whatever wealth, whatever benefit, whatever money that you can gain in this world, it is so little in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if you get a mountain of gold, eventually what will happen? You will try to spend it, but eventually you will die. You will live for 50, 60, 70, 80, I don't know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows for how long. And you will die, and you will leave that mountain of gold. Even you may not be able to even spend it through your entire life. So the point here is, whatever we gain, regardless of wealth, or even if it is a desire that we are trying to fulfill, even if it's whatever it is, it won't last. We will eventually die, or the thing itself will get broken, or it will get perished, or if it is money, it will get spent, whatever will happen. So this is a little price versus hereafter, which is unlimited life. So for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the hereafter and the reward there is much more important, or even the punishment there that you will get because of the little price that you wanted to get in this world. So which is why the action is straightforward, coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly, which is, don't exchange the covenant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a little price. Because whatever amount of wealth or money we gain in this world is peanuts, or very small compared to the unlimited life of the hereafter. Ma indakum yanfadu wa ma indallahi baq. Whatever is with you will be exhausted, And whatever is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be remaining and He will make it forever. وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّ الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا أَجْرَهُمْ بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And surely we will pay to those who are patient, meaning who did sabr, their reward to the best of what they used to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will compensate us even more than what we can imagine. And that is the real reward that we'll get in the hereafter. So there is no point of trying to get a little benefit of this world. Regardless of what size of benefit it is, it's still little compared to the life of the hereafter and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in store for us. Man amila salihan min dhakarin aw untha wa huwa mu'minun falanuhyiyannahu hayatan tayyiba. Whoever does righteous deeds, whether male or female, while he is a believer, then surely we will give him a life which will be a very good life in this life as well as hereafter. وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْرَهُمْ بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And we will pay them their reward to the best of what they used to do in the hereafter as well. فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. Very important action coming, guys. All your attention now. So when you recite the Quran, seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from shaitan, who is accursed, who is rajim, he's expelled, he's rejected. So when you recite the Quran, seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who will answer this question? When you recite Quran, seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from shaitan. Why is this important? Taha, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Because when you're reciting Quran, shaitan gets scared. It's like, he's reciting Quran. Let's make some fun. So basically, let's say your friends are starting to play Roblox and you're still having your hifz class. So shaitan will try going into your heart when you're reciting Quran, saying, you should just play Roblox, quit the class. So yeah.
Excellent. Brilliant answer, Taha. Jazakallahu khairan. Brilliant answer. Who else? Aziz, your hand is raised. Or is it Nuruddin? Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I think when we are reciting Quran, the shaitan tried to misguide us. He says, this is the meaning of this, or blah, blah. So we don't have to follow him. Also, if we are reading on phone or laptop, like PDFs, so most of the time, there's notifications coming from YouTube, from anywhere. So we have to block that. We have to recite and try to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said.
Brilliant answer, Nuruddin. Jazakallahu khairan. Yes, Muhammad Hassan, please go ahead. Your hand is raised.
Yes, sir. This means when you are reciting Quran, shaitan will divert your mind and will divert your mind, and it is not important. It is not important while we are reciting Quran. So we have to focus what we are reading, what we are doing.
Excellent answer. Jazakallahu khairan. Who else? I see Shahrukh's hands also raised. Shahrukh Raza, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So whenever we recite Quran, shaitan always try to distract us. Now, so mostly let us think about things we are away from. Like we have to think about our work also and other tensions also. He always try to distract us whenever we are trying to recite Quran.
Brilliant answer. Thank you so much, Shahrukh. Jazakallah. Who else? Aziz, you have your hand raised. It keeps on raising and going back. I don't know if you want to comment.
Yeah, I do. So when you recite the Quran, then seek refuge from Allah SWT and shaitan. It's important because shaitan, he can make you take things out of context. He can make you get distracted. He can make you get he can make you get distracted. He'll make you have doubt in it, or not be able to concentrate well, and other things like that. And he'll take you off guidance.
Excellent answer. Ahmed and Arham, your hand is also raised. Please go ahead.
Sir, so Quran is like the tool for building a bridge between you and Allah, and shaitan is trying to break it. So whenever you read Quran, so this class, for example, this is like the best way you can really understand, because the majority of people listening to the class won't even understand the Quran. And in your head, Shaitan is just putting like these different things in your mind that you could be doing something better right now than reading Quran, but there's nothing you could be doing.
Jazakallahu khairan, Ahmed. Brilliant answer. And I love the analogy that you used, that, you know, it is a bridge. Quran is a bridge, a connection between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Shaitan really wants to break that connection. Lovely analogy. Who else? Any other comment? I see a couple of hand raised. I don't know if you want to make a comment. Okay. Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please go ahead, Shahrukh. Go ahead.
Sir, can I ask you one thing, sir? Some people are weak in Arabic, and so it is difficult for them to read Quran in Arabic. So, what is the next way to read Quran also, and it will be understandable also?
Sure. So I think there are many tajweed courses. Tajweed is the way you correctly read Quran that are available. Even they're available on YouTube. You can follow them, and they start with the qaida, meaning the letters of Arabic, and then they teach you the sounds of the letter of Arabic, and then the construction of the words. So you can follow those YouTube lessons and read the Arabic Quran. And then there are some Arabic grammar and language courses as well that can help you to understand and interpret it yourself. And then you can go through the meanings and tafsir and different work that different Islamic scholars has done. So there is a step-by-step way where you can improve your Arabic.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir.
No,
Can
go
we
ahead.
read in can we read in English? So English translation only.
Yes, I will. I try to read both. I try to read the Arabic and then the English translation both. That's the format of the class. Okay, good. So I think you guys have already presented, Jazakumullahu khairan, this slide. Thank you so much. So I think we can move forward. All the answers were excellent, spot on. Why we should seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from shaitan when reading the Quran, and we start by saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Okay, excellent. Innahu laysa lahu sultanun ala alladhina amanu wa ala rabbihim yatawakkalun. Indeed, for him there is no authority on those who believe, and upon their Lord they put their trust. So basically here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning, in the previous verse we saw about seeking refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from shaitan, meaning asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from shaitan. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, indeed he, meaning shaitan, does not have any authority on a believing person. So if you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you put your tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the last word in this ayah, then this trust will protect you from whatever shaitan is trying to put in your the waswasa that he's trying to put you and derail you. So there is no authority on shaitan. So shaitan cannot just hold our hand and make us commit a sin. No, he can just put some waswasa in our heads that, okay, fine, maybe I tried, and you know those voices in your head that you have to shut them off. But otherwise he has no other authority on believing Muslims. So we should continue to have a stronger relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continue to build our trust into Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as our protector, and he will be able to protect us from all the waswasas of shaitan. إنما سلطانه على الذين يتولونه والذين هم به مشركون. Only his authority is over. Now, who does shaitan influence? Only his authority is over those who take him as an ally or a partner or a friend, or who seek out to such wrong things, and those who they with him associate partners. So they also associate partners, and then they are trying to become allies of shaitan. I see some hand raised. Are there any comments, guys?
Yes, sir, I just
Yes,
want to say I'm
Yes.
studying from one institute in Pakistan, so the Tajweed one. If somebody want to learn, they can have contact from me.
Excellent. Jazakallah khairan Nuruddin. So you know you guys can connect. Brilliant. Who else? Ahmed, you were saying something? Or Arham?
Yes, sir. Yes, I just wanted to confirm the question from Shahrukh. I think what he was trying to ask was, can we read Quran in English? I think that was his question.
Oh, I thought.
Just a
Okay.
translation.
Sorry, I just thought that he was saying that I should also read. But definitely, I mean, in order to understand better, you can read it in English. And there is a transliteration as well that is available, which is when you read it in English letters, it is just an interpretation of the Arabic. You can read that as well. The thing is, there are hasanat and there is sawab of reading the Quran in Arabic. And we learned it in our previous couple of lessons as well, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran in Arabic. And this is the exact statement that came in that we went through all together. So there are hasanats and there are benefits of reading it in Arabic as well. However, in order to understand it better, or in order to, if it is easier for you to read it in English, then definitely you should continue. Just make sure that you have a strong connection and you continue to improve, be it Arabic, be it understanding, be it tajweed, be it the meaning. And then the final most important thing is the action. How will you improve your life? How will you improve your life once you have taken this guidance and once you have read it? However, there are hasanats and there are blessings of reading the Quran in Arabic in every harf, for every word that you read or every letter that you read. So I hope this is clear. Okay. Moving forward, Jazakallahu khairan, Shabas, for pointing this out. وَإِذَا بَدَّلْنَا آيَةً مَكَانَ آيَةً. And when we substitute a verse in place of a verse, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes the verses, وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا يُنَزِّلُ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُفْتَرٍ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most knowing of what he sends down. They say only you are an inventor. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it is the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reveal a guidance, to reveal an instruction, to change it later on. It is upon the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, na'uzubillah, is an inventor himself, as they used to call him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is countering that argument. Bal aktharahum la ya'lamun. However, most of them, they do not know. They just think that, the Holy Prophet is inventing, or they are saying this just to misguide others. قُلْ نَزَّلَهُ رُوحُ الْقُدُسِ مِنْ رَبِّكَ بِالْحَقِّ لِيُثَبِّتَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَهُدًى وَبُشْرَى لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. Say he brought it down, the Holy Spirit, meaning Jibreel alayhi salam, on the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, from your Lord in truth, to make firm those who believe, and as a guidance and glad tidings to the Muslims. وَلَقَدْ نَعْلَمُ أَنَّهُمْ يَقُولُونَ إِنَّمَا يُعَلِّمُهُ بَشَرٌ. And certainly we know that they say only teaches him a human being, meaning they used to say that the Holy Prophet is being taught by someone. There was a learned person who was there at that point in time. He is the one who is teaching the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is refuting this argument. Lisanul ladhi yulhiduna ilayhi a'jamiyyun wa hadha lisanun arabiyyun mubin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is countering the argument by saying the tongue or the language of the one they refer to him is foreign, while this is purely clear Arabic language. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed it in Arabic language. And by the way, even the mushriks of Makkah, and at that point in time, they were masters of Arabic language. There was a lot of depth of Arabic language. So they knew that this is clear Arabic language that is being revealed to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. However, they were just making up these arguments just to misguide people and saying, he's learning from that person and that person and all. Inna alladhina la yu'minuna bi ayatillah. Indeed, those who do not believe in the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, la yahdihimullahu wa lahum azabun alim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not guide them, and for them is a painful punishment. So they have something inside their heart that they are not believing. They are not willing to believe. They have evil inside their heart. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not guide them, and there is a painful punishment for them. Innama yaftaril kadhib alladhina la yu'minuna bi ayatillah. Only they invent the falsehood, those who do not believe in the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa ulaika humul kadhibun. And those, they are the liars. They are inventing things in religion that are not true. Man kafara billahi min ba'di imanihi illa man ukriha wa qalbuhu mutma'innu. Whoever disbelieves in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after his belief, except one who is forced while his heart is content. So if somebody is being forced and he has a threat of life, yes, he can say something that, okay, fine, I'm not a believer, but obviously in his heart he's content, he is a strong believer. Bil imani walakin man sharaha bil kufri. صَدْرًا فَعَلَيْهِمْ غَضَبٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. His heart is content with the faith, but the one who opens disbelief to his breast, then upon them is the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the fury of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those people who have strong Iman in their heart, they are safe, while those others who are not, who have disbelief in their heart, while from the tongue they may be saying whatever they want to say, they will face the fury and wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ, and for them is a great punishment. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمُ تَحَبُّ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا عَلَى الْآخِرَةِ. That is because they preferred the life of the world over hereafter. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الْكَافِرِينَ, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not guide the people who are disbelievers. They themselves preferred the life of the world. They wanted to have, they did corruption, they wanted to amass wealth, they wanted to have all the fun, they don't want to be restricted in this world between halal and haram and the guidance. So they preferred this life, while Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not, and because of which they became the disbelievers, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't guide the disbelievers. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ طَبَعَ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ وَسَمْعِهِمْ وَأَبْصَارِهِمْ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. Those are the ones Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set a seal over their hearts and their hearing and their sight. So even if you give them the right message, or even if you show them, and if they observe things and they see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's signs, those they will not be able to get the guidance. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ, and those, they are the ones who are heedless. لَا جَرَمَ أَنَّهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. No doubt that they in the hereafter are sore losers. They will be the ones who are clear losers. If you look at these previous three ayahs, they are about people who prefer the life of this world versus the hereafter. So now I want to turn the question, and I need everybody's attention. How can we prefer the life of the hereafter over this world? So what is the trick? Can there be a guiding principle? Can we always follow something and then make sure that we are preferring the life of hereafter, not this world? Because you saw in the previous one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying they are the ones who prefer the life of this world and not hereafter. Now, if we are trying our best to be practicing Muslims, then how can we prefer the life of hereafter over the world, which should be the way of the believer? Yes, Shahbaz, your hand is raised.
Sir, there's two reasons. Firstly, you could scare yourself from the hellfire. So there's like a lot of scholars, and they do different like talks about how hellfires, and then you could also listen to how good Jannah is, and then you can look forward to it. The second thing is limiting yourself to things in this world, so you don't have those possibilities to do haram things.
Brilliant answer, Ahmed. I think you've already answered what I was about to present. Who else? Any other point, guys? Aziz, your hand is raised.
Yeah, so I was saying that you should try and detach yourself from this world, or you should like not attach yourself to this world, and attach yourself to the hereafter instead. And attach yourself to the hereafter and generate a love for the hereafter, and lower your love for this world. So then and widen your spectrum of like what you see, because most people just see this world and my job, my school, my wife, my kids. They don't see my deeds, Allah, my namaz, and all those type of things.
Excellent. Jazakumullah khairan. Brilliant answers, guys. Muhammad, please go ahead.
Sir, firstly, there's one reason. In the believers of Islam, it is important to have a strong belief of Iman, so we can understand the importance of life hereafter. And secondly, we can also remember the fire of the hell that is mentioned on the Quran by Allah, so we can understand those ayah, so we can prefer the life hereafter over this world.
Brilliant answer, Muhammad Hassan. Jazakumullah khairan. The three of you already presented the slide that I was about to say. I think it's very important. The rule of thumb, or the guidance, the rule that we should keep throughout our lives is apply the guidance filter. Always think if my action, whatever action I'm taking in life, any decision that I'm making in life, even if I'm marrying a female, is she a Muslimah who can, direct me and inspire me towards Islam? Even if I am getting a job, is this job halal? Is this halal source of money that I'm trying to get? It can be small things, even if you're, watching a video or whatever. So every action, be it how small or how big, we need to understand if it is taking us close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his guidance and his way, or away from it. If something is taking us away from it, that means we are spoiling our hereafter and we are preferring this world over the hereafter. If you always apply this guidance filter, and in your heart, if something, anything that I'm doing, even when you're cracking a joke in front of your friends, will that joke, what impact will have that joke have? Or if you are, sometimes people are cracking jokes about a friend and they're trying to make fun of one person and all of this, and they don't care about how they feel. A lot of things, even if you're cheating an exam or not cheating an exam, even if you are being a witness, somebody asks you, let's say there is a small thing even between friends or between brothers, and they say, see, this happened, right? And then you say, yes or no. It depends on what you're saying, the truth or not. So every small thing in life, every big thing in life, the guidance filter has to be on. What is the guidance filter? You always check if something will get you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and its guidance. Are you doing the right thing? Or are you moving away from it and you're doing the wrong thing? As long as you have this guidance filter, then inshallah, in all your big decisions in life and in small things, day-to-day life, even if you're watching something comes on screen and you, obviously shaitan will say, continue watching, it's okay, just watch for a few seconds. And then once you start watching, it will say, continue watching, might as well watch the end, what happened. And so these small things and big things, we have to apply our guidance filter. This should be our guiding principle, so that we always prefer the hereafter, as all of you said. Jazakumullahu khairan. Moving forward. ثم إن ربك للذين هاجروا من بعد ما فتنوا ثم جاهدوا واصبروا إن ربك من بعدها لغفور رحيم. Then indeed your Lord to those who immigrate after what they had been put to trials, then strove hard and were patient. Indeed your Lord after it is oft forgiving and surely is merciful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that a lot of the people have been put to trial, and at that point in time as well. And some of the people even immigrated out of Makkah. And we discussed this during the migration topic and the immigration topic when we discussed it previously as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most forgiving and most merciful for people, and he gives reward to people who are also patient in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who migrate in order to be better practicing Muslims. So right now we are almost over time and we have 18 more ayahs. What I would do is I would break here, and inshallah I will continue from the next class. So we will quickly go through the actions, the ones that we covered. I think the last one we haven't covered yet, which we can cover in the next class, inshallah. But I will quickly go through the actions from this class, which are the first four mainly. Number one was, we discussed, don't follow the majority, follow the right way, even if you are one alone person, because most of the people, whenever you follow the majority, they are disbelievers. So the notion of that most of my friends are doing this, or I want to do this, and all of these people are Muslims, then look at them, they're all doing this, is not true. You have to apply your own guidance filter and you have to always follow the right path. Don't exchange the covenant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a little price in this world. Regardless of how much amount of benefit we get in this world, it's limited. Eventually we will die. It can be wealth, it can be power, it can be a big house or a car, and we discussed a mountain of gold. Eventually we will die, or we will run out of all these material things that are there, which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling it is a very little price. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in store for us in the hereafter, if we are patient and if we follow the guidance, and if we don't break the covenant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then that is the ultimate reward, and that is the unlimited life that is waiting for us. So regardless of whatever you get in this world is a little price if you are comparing it versus the rewards of hereafter that Allah SWT has in store for us. When you recite the Holy Quran, action number 3, seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from shaitan. And all of you, mashallah, discussed it in detail, that whenever we are trying to read the Holy Quran or trying to get the guidance, shaitan will want to misguide us. Ahmed gave a very nice analogy that Quran is the bridge between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And shaitan would want to break that connection, break that bridge. He would come in between to misguide us, and do all sorts of things. He will try to make you drowsy. And as you guys gave up multiple examples that this thing can pop up and something can come up and you just want to move away. So we should start by saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and then Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and then we continue. Final action that we discussed: prefer the life of hereafter over this world, meaning check if your actions are taking you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his guidance, or they are taking you away from it. And always keep the life of the hereafter in mind whenever you are making big decisions in life here, or small decisions, day-to-day things that you're doing in this life. The last action that I had kept for today's class, we didn't get a time to discuss it. Inshallah, we will cover it in the next class. Are there any comments? Anything before I close today's class? Okay, excellent. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Purity belongs to Allah and all praise be to him. Purity belongs to you, O Allah, and all praise be to you. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship besides you. I beg forgiveness from you and I repent before you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Insha'Allah, I will see you all same time next week.
Allah Hafiz.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah